Sacrifice. What does that word mean to you? The word sacrifice has taken on a whole new meaning in 2020. Places we wanted to visit, we couldn't go to. Occasions we wanted to celebrate, we couldn't enjoy. Dia de Muertos in Mexico is no exception. Mexicans are accustomed to loud and colourful street parades, getting together as families to construct elaborate ofrendas, and visiting local cemeteries with brightly coloured cempasúchil to remember their loved ones. But this is 2020. Is it realistic to expect the usual level of frivolity and community spirit, coupled with the ever-important somber feel? Or have Mexicans needed to sacrifice the norm and make the best of a bad situation? Today in Zacatecas, a gorgeous city I visited in 2019, we're going to discover exactly that. A state in which I scaled La Bufa, went down the mines and visited the spectacular Jerez de Garcia Salinas. Bleakness, emptiness, silence. Welcome to 2020 in Mexico. Hello everyone, how are you doing? I've got a question for you. How do you film a Dia de Muertos video in Mexico in 2020 when there are alarms going, when everything is either closed or cancelled? I guess we're going to find out. Right, today is November the 1st, 2020, which is Dia de Muertos. Yes, it is still 2020. When will this year of hell end? Apparently in 2 months. But anyway, as I said at the end of the last video in Cerro de San Pedro, I'm back in one of my golden destinations in Mexico, the state of Zacatecas, specifically the city of Zacatecas. Why is it golden? Quite simply, it's one of my favourite locations. I was here last year and I did about 4 videos here, plus one that I did in Jerez de Garcia Salinas. And in those videos, we went to a lot of the common tourist places, like we went up the Teleferico to El Bufa, we went to a traditional Mexican cantina and had squirt and mezcal. We also went down the mines at El Eden. Obviously, I don't want to repeat myself in these videos. We're going to try and find something relating to Dia de Muertos and have some food, because I didn't have any food in the last video and I'm starving. So let's get going. Okay, we're starting off a little bit out of the centre of Zacatecas and we're going to start off with some food. We're going to try and have something later that is typically Mexican, but I want to start off with something that you may not think is Mexican, but after all this time in Mexico, it kind of has become Mexican. You'll see why in a moment. So here we are, gigantic hamburgers. You can't go wrong with that. Yeah, of course a burger is not necessarily Mexican, but it's something that I've been wanting to put in a video for so long because it is just divine. The place is really dark inside, as many places are in Mexico, so I'm going to get the food and come outside and we'll eat out here. Okay, look at the actual size of this. It's humongous, look at it. Absolutely massive. So as you can see from the shots that I did get inside, there are many different options like bacon and sausage, Hawaiian with pineapple, but I've got dynamite, dinamita, I'm assuming that's dynamite. I'm not exactly sure what the ingredients are, but I guess we're going to find out. I think you put like chili sauce in it, ketchup, mustard, the usual lot, and there's also meat, ham on there. Look at that. Have you ever seen a burger so big? The patties, obviously they shrink a little bit from what you can see now when they're cooking it, and but still it's ginormous, gigantic. I guess the name is accurate. And you know, they work at such a pace in there, and it's very busy. It's really cool to see them, you know, throwing the burgers around, things like that. But yeah, it's enough talking, more eating. Look at this, it's packed full of fillings. Oh my god, there's cheese on the bottom too, obviously. Immense. What's dynamite about it? I'm not sure, but I guess we'll continue eating. Absolutely heavenly. The reason why I find Mexican burgers quite unique is that you often have, like, when they're preparing them, they put like 2 slices of ham filled with like plastic American cheese and also quesillo. So when you bite into it, obviously the cheese is melted in the middle of the ham, and it's just so different. You know, it might sound basic, but it really makes a difference. I'm in love. And it's, you know, this is massive. It's cut up into 4 quarters, if you like. Don't know how I'm going to eat all this, but I guess we'll find out. So I've dissected it a little bit. Look at that burger. It's nice and burnt and crispy on the bottom, which I love. With the there's the ham with the cheese inside, and it's like compacted against the burger. Beautiful. The pigeons are getting involved with the gigantic dynamite burger. You okay, hon? Yeah, I'll give you some meat in a minute. There we go. Oh, that's a bit of, I don't know what that is. So on to Dia de Muertos, or the lack of, as it may be. Obviously it's 2020, we can't expect there to be desfiles, parades, and, you know, people face painting on the street and ofrendas everywhere. Obviously we've got kind of one here, but there's a marked difference in comparison to last year and the year before. Last year I was in Cuernavaca, amazing parade, I kind of almost took part in there. But, you know, over the last sort of month especially, everywhere I've been in Mexico, there's kind of been an absence of it. And, you know, maybe that's from just my point of view. I don't know. If you're Mexican, perhaps it's a different case, because I'm sure you've got ofrendas at home, remembering loved ones, etc. Let me know in the comments. You know, this is going to be in the past tense because this video will be uploaded after Dia de Muertos. What did you do for Dia de Muertos? How did you make it, you know, as close as normal as you could have done? Apologies for the terrible grammar there, but you know what I mean. I was just speaking with that senor over there, really nice guy, and he was basically telling me that despite the pandemic, despite everything going on, it's kind of the same view as me. You've got to do what you can do, if you know what I mean. So he was telling me that people are, you know, having food at home, having pan de muerto at home, things like that, and doing their ofrendas very much in the house, which they would do anyway, but clearly, you know, you can't do that outside, you know, like in central squares and parks, and also going to cemeteries. You know, a lot of cemeteries are closed. That's of course a very somber, special occasion, event every Dia de Muertos. Gracias, amigo. Hasta luego. Feliz Dia de Muertos. Here, of course, is the cathedral in the middle of Zacatecas. It's one of the most beautiful ones in the whole of Mexico. Just look at the design on the front there. The sun is shining on it. It's about 4:30. There's very loud cars going past. It's a taxi. But yeah, it's spectacular. And look, like that dome up there, you've got like the yellow on it. It's just beautiful, and it's amazing at night as well. Now I've got to admit, we did do this in one of the other Zacatecas videos. I should really be doing this in San Luis, but I'm going to go to Costanza because I really need some chocolate. Okay, I'm just going to get the old classic. Fresa Princesa. The legend that is Princesa. Ah, look at the Costanzas. Okay, despite the wind, I've got to eat this quick because it's melting. Yeah, very rich chocolate with like a jelly bit at the bottom, and then cream, strawberry. So right now we've got a little kid riding around a little bike and a girl going into a tent, which is there for some reason. But a year and a half ago there was tamborazo, there were bands playing here and people dancing into the night. Even at this time of the day there would be tamborazo, and you know, they would walk from here up the hill with their drums and trombones and everything. What a difference a year makes. I did a video, I filmed a bit Down here there was a food place I went to. I started a video right over there. I ate food over here somewhere where there were pigeons attacking me. The pigeons are still here. And obviously look, you can't even get into this area with all the prohibido el paso. That's my phrase of the year, I think. So I sat on this exact step about a year and a half ago doing exactly this. Drinking a mango boing. Might do a little comparison shot over there. It might have been that step, but who knows. Anyway, you might be wondering, why have I come back to somewhere that I've been before? Because obviously I'm not going to do the things I did before. Quite simply because I wanted to. Alright? I do have a mind of my own, and this whole Mexico series has purposely been about new places, but I was going to go to other places in San Luis, like Axtla de Terrazas and things. I don't know how to pronounce it, for Dia de Muertos, but you know, I just can't justify spending the time and money on buses to go to places where nothing's happening. Quite honestly, there's a silence that permeates wherever I go in Mexico this year. A distance, not only physical distance, but mental distance. I'll touch on that in episode 10, the Mexico finale. Anyway, I'm going to wait for this bus. Let's do it. Why not? It's 70 pesos, 70 pesos, the same cost as the one in San Luis. I don't know how I remember these things, but apparently I do. So, yeah, we're doing something new, even though it's somewhere old. It's like a wedding. We need something blue. Yeah, let's see Zacatecas from above. Okay, hi everyone. We've got a bit of noise in the background, dogs barking. That's Mexico for you. But it's a couple of days later again, just like the last one, because when I got back from that bus trip, which was very informative, by the way, it was dark, so I couldn't film. But the thing I wanted to say about this video, obviously it was originally intended to be a Dia de Muertos video. The thing is, as I've kind of said during this, is that this isn't a normal year. So Dia de Muertos isn't really being celebrated this year. By the time you see this, again, past tense, it's happened. And the thing that kind of came into my head during this video was around the fact, what's more important in life, a celebration or survival in terms of a pandemic? And the reason I say this is because by the time you see this, the UK will be back in lockdown again. I'm going back to the UK for one day next week. And there's a lot of talk I've seen, you know, even Boris Johnson saying things about, you know, we want to go into lockdown for 4 weeks so that to ensure people can have a nice Christmas, a normal Christmas. And I think, really? Is that the important thing? Christmas, some festival? Obviously, you know, people want to have a good Christmas. I understand that this year's been a nightmare. I appreciate that. But we have to consider what's more important in life. So, you know, when I think about World War I and World War II, I know that on Christmas Day there were stories of, you know, opposing sides meeting on the battleground in no man's land and greeting each other and not fighting and having a day off. But in reality, you know, the war was still happening, just like now is happening. The pandemic is still happening. So should we be so concerned about some festival regardless of where we're from in the world or our background or religion. You know, we have Christmas, Easter, Eid, Ramadan, Diwali, Chinese New Year, you name it, and Dia de Muertos. So I think we do have to consider, you know, what's important in life. And if we have to take a year off Christmas or Dia de Muertos, then that's what we have to do. Unfortunately, it's the bleak reality of 2020. And I've got to say, you know, one thing I haven't seen in Mexico the whole time I've been here, or heard, obviously I know a lot of Mexicans, I speak to a lot of you every day. Not one of you has been complaining about the fact that you can't necessarily go to a cemetery to commemorate the lives of your lost loved ones. No one has been complaining about that you can't go to a parade or have an ofrenda on the street. You know, it's just one of those things about Mexico that I feel like the rest of the world could learn from. You know, we don't need to complain about not having a celebration because there are more important things in life. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'm being a bit bleak. I don't know. But anyway, I'm about to go and film the next one, which is part number 9. We're back in yet another golden location. Wait for it. We're back in Jerez de Garcia Salinas. I'm excited. I'll see you next time. Catch you later.
Free, feel free to run. Make it once again.
I'm very happy right now. How often does that happen? Oh, perfecto. Muchas gracias, amigo. Ah, this senor has just invited me in.
Still in my arm. It's
We don't treasure places like this, treasure days like this, moments like this, amazing times that we might not have again. I'm going to cry again. Why do I keep crying in Jerez?
the